Speakers are here. Perfect. Welcome back, everyone. Hope that was fun. Hope it gave you another opportunity to connect, to learn more, and even use that space to show off your new confident public speaking skills that we just learned in our workshop with Leah. So I'm so excited to moderate this conversation on collaborative leadership, leading with our whole selves. We have an amazing speakers with us this evening. We have Dr. Makeba Williams, Director of Division of Academic Specialists in Obstetrician and Gynecology, and Associate Professor at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. We have Ingrid Gonzalez. She's the Head of Sales at Google Cloud New York and the Chairwoman and President of Positive Planet US. We have Leah joining us again. Leah is the communication coach and founder at PresentVoices. And we have Porsha Monroe, who's the learning and development specialist at Netflix. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, I guess, best place to start is introductions. If you could just introduce yourselves, share a little bit more about your journey and where you are in your current role at your current organization.
Absolutely. So we'll start. So I just want to start saying thank you, everyone, for joining us today. It's a late hour on Friday, and this is definitely our time. This is your time. So my name is Ingrid Gonzalez, and I just want to share a little bit about my background. So I grew up in the mountain in the south of France. So I come from a very poor family, very diverse, very international, Italian, Spanish roots. I grew up in a 500 people town where there were more animals than human beings, but with determination and grit. I had the opportunity to graduate from a master's degree in entrepreneurship from a top business school in Europe. And I've been for the past 17 years in technology, innovation. I work for the 4 largest companies in the world, IBM, Dell, Microsoft, and Google in 3 different continents. And today I just wanted to introduce myself as really representing 2 of the largest organization I'm passionate about. One is Google Cloud, Positive Planet. Positive Planet is my passion, is my life, is a non-profit organization that I had the opportunity to lead since the past July, since the pandemic. And the goal of Positive Planet is to support underserved community, to lead poverty through entrepreneurship. And today's themes was all about, and I was very excited and be with all of you because the theme was, what does collaborative leadership means to me, Ingrid? So as a leader, your purpose is to really create a diverse and inclusive environment, and where everyone feels valued, included, and have a voice. So I have decided to lead by example. So I just wanted to give you share a little story with you about what happened last year during the pandemic. I was not very happy. I was lonely. I was sad and very, very isolated. And I decided to leave America to be close to my family back in France, in Europe, and find support and comfort like many of you had. So right away, I went to my HR lead and expressed the desire to leave the country and to foster an environment around me where I could be me and could have a voice and definitely connect with my organization, with myself, and with my team. And it was not easy, but very because I had a voice, because I expressed a desire, I made that happen. And I was very excited to leave and to be close to an environment where I felt like I could, be me again and express myself. I give the best to my organization, to my team, and to my family as well. So what I want to share with all of you today in terms of, with the theme of collaboration, it changed my entire life. It changed my entire team dynamic. Everyone, because they saw me, I was doing it, everyone felt relaxed. So ready to give their best, ready also to be able and say, okay, I want to do the same. I wanted to create and foster an environment around me when I can be me, when I can collaborate, when I can be myself and can give the best. And what I want to share with all of you tonight is that thanks to that environment that you personally create around yourself, you can make the impossible be possible. And I just want to share with you some numbers. Is that last year we were awarded at Google at being the top performing team in America. We received a Stratosphere Award, top recognition in the world during the time where New York was hit at the worst. But because we reevaluate the way we were talking, engaging, collaborating, and respecting each other and meeting each other where we were in our life, in our personal life and professional life, we were able to be extremely successful. So I'm very excited to be with all of you tonight. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'm looking forward to the Q&A and to get to know you better and share with you a little bit more about my experience. But thank you very much again for joining us. And I would be happy to take any questions further.
Thank you, Ingrid. Maybe Dr. Makeba, if you'd like to introduce yourself and tell us a bit more about your role in your organization.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for this opportunity to join this conversation about I think I was muted. I'm so sorry.
Yes.
Thank you so much for this opportunity to join this conversation about collaborative leadership and to honor International Women's History Month. As a woman, a Black woman, as a women's health provider, it is such an honor to join this conversation because at the intersection of women's health and empowerment and education is where my passion lies. So I am a mother, I am a partner, and I am a leader. I lead a division of about 21 physicians and an additional 20 advanced practice providers at the University of Wisconsin School of Medicine and Public Health. And in that role, I am responsible for the clinical mission as well as the academic mission of our general obstetrics and gynecology division. So when we talk about collaborating, when we talk about caring and compassion and leadership, it is really fundamental to everything that I do as a leader, whether or not I'm in a delivery room assisting with bringing new life into the world, in the operating room, leading a team that's helping me perform surgery, or if it's in the classroom where I'm teaching the next generation of residents and medical students how to care for women. Collaborating with these multidisciplinary teams is critical. And I will tell you, over this past year, the past 13 months, the concept and notion of collaborative leadership has just gone to the next level for me, because certainly we wouldn't have been able to do what we needed to do as a team without that collaborative approach. I'll just, take you back a year in the past. On a Friday evening, it was March 13th. You know what they say about Friday the 13th? Well, it was a very harrowing day for me. It was very clear at that moment for me that our team was going to have this all hands on deck approach to develop a response to the emerging COVID pandemic. And for us as women's health providers, we had to figure out how we could stand up telehealth services in a less than 48-hour period. And if you know anything about obstetrics and gynecology, our world is the pelvis. And our work has traditionally relied on face-to-face, in-person examinations and conversations. So we were challenged with, how do we continue to provide care for these women who were going to need care regardless of any social, physical distancing restrictions that were coming down the pike? And I am so pleased to say that we all got together over a weekend on using, it seems so out of date, but we were using a conference call line, and we got together to figure out how we could stand up technology so that we could meet our patients' needs on Monday morning at 8 o'clock when those hundreds of patients were due to come into our clinic. So the way we were able to do that, and to do that successfully, to deliver that care over the past 13 months, is because we came together around a common goal. We were able to take care of one another, because I must remind everyone, we were dealing with frontline issues, that we were facing perilous situations, thinking about our own health, the health of our families. Everyone on my team, with the exception of one person, is a mother of young children. So we had to learn to take care of ourselves, have to take care of each other, and collaborate so we could bring our whole selves to the mission that was critical, and that is taking care of other women.
Oh, thank you. Someone want to go next? I think we have Porsha, if you want to share a bit more about yourself, and also talk about maybe what does collaborative leadership look like in your world.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm so thrilled to be on this panel after hearing from our speakers, and can't wait to hear from everyone else. It's really exciting to be here, and I am really looking forward to exploring what collaborative leadership and leading with our whole selves actually means in practice. So just a bit about my background. I am from the New York area. I have family who's pretty close to me at this point. I'm still on the East Coast. And I started out my career, I usually say generally, in the people and culture space. I did a little bit of HR stuff. I did a little bit of talent acquisition or recruiting. I did some work in diversity and inclusion, all within the advertising industry. And at a certain point, I really connected with learning as this lifelong process. And I started to question why learning and development, employee growth and development, wasn't more at the forefront of some of the companies I was working for. So that led me to the practice of learning and development. After leaving advertising, I ventured over to Spotify and moved into a global role in a global team, where we really started to explore what learning actually means in practice, all of the different sort of innovative ways that you can approach creating really interesting, sticky learning experiences for different kinds of learners. And I really began to center around working with the topics of leadership development in that role, and started to see just how growth and collaboration could actually take form depending on sort of which team you're on, which part of the company you're in. So that brings me to where I am now, which is at Netflix. Just a little bit about us. We're aiming to continue shaping the future of global entertainment, because we believe that there's a better way to have people find and discover the content that they really love to watch. The past year has been great for Netflix, to put it generally. But there is so much more that can be done for our business. So here at Netflix, I'm in the learning and development space. And so what that means is I work on a team of other folks in L&D who have different specializations, but we mainly partner with our talent organization and leaders in product to design and develop learning experiences to meet the needs of our ever-growing, truly global at this point, workforce. And we integrate key aspects of our culture, like context, not control, and freedom and responsibility, really key Netflix culture tenets, which means we typically lean away from defining learning processes or experiences, and more towards enabling leaders to create the right experience for their team. And so collaboration is actually woven throughout all of our core values at Netflix. And we are passionate learners, but how we approach learning and development, and specifically collaboration, has really changed pretty significantly over the past year. So I want to share just a bit, like many of you, Netflix had leaders who were at the top of the year last year, previously clustered in these sort of geographic areas, and previously had really put a premium on in-person connections as a way to foster collaboration. But now, after sort of being globally distributed, we have a lot of folks who are collectively realizing that proximity doesn't automatically correlate with collaboration. Collaboration is really a mindset that takes work to cultivate. And there are so many challenges, obviously, that has already been shared, but so many challenges that came up over the last year that our leaders were really challenged to work through. One of which was, how do we maintain collaboration in this space, right? How do we still kind of balance leaving room for our team members to discuss what's going on in their personal lives, to really have the space to talk about how what's going on in the world is affecting their work, but still sort of moving things forward and still enabling and fostering the kind of collaboration that moves our business forward. And so as someone in the learning, design, and development space, I've been in the unique position of exploring spaces and conversations that seek to promote group collaboration. And so what we've realized is, again, what I mentioned before, is that collaboration goes well beyond working together. It's a mindset. And I'll speak a little bit more to kind of how that impacts women a little bit later. But I believe that from what I've seen, the leaders who are women in our country, in our company, excuse me, have really stepped up in this space and have really leaned into leading with parts of themselves that are totally authentic in order to facilitate collaboration for their teams. And so I'm really interested to again hear from others and to talk a little bit further about what that means, what that intersection has looked like, especially given the past year. Thank you.
Thank you. And Leah, you could share a little bit more about your journey and maybe what collaborative leadership also looks like to you.
Yes, thank you. Everyone, it's such an honor to be speaking with you all and hear your stories. Ingrid and Porsha, Dr. Williams, thank you so much. And for those of you who were not in the workshop, my name is Leah Bomvasudo. I'm a communication coach and founder of PresentVoices, where I help people communicate with more confidence off the cuff through coaching and community. I was raised by a mime and a Broadway musician. So naturally, I had a ton of social anxiety. And I was gravitated towards theater very early on because there were a script, there were rules, there was a way to have permission to interact with other human beings. But it wasn't quite enough. And about 10 years ago, I started to do the work I do now in healthcare, particularly at a public hospital in Brooklyn, helping frontline staff de-escalate situations, advocate for themselves and their patients, and generally feel more heard. And that is my work today. Today, my work is living theater, and I help individuals and teams use their own voices and tell their own stories so that they can bring their whole selves to work. I believe that collaborative leadership is true leadership. Collaborative leadership is not aggressive, oppressive, or my way or the highway. And that kind of leadership is rooted in white supremacy. Collaborative leadership is inclusive, receptive, open, vulnerable, but it is also direct and clear and strong. Collaborative leadership means that workers feel heard and can bring their whole selves to work. And now I bring my whole self to work by leaving my bed a little messy sometimes, or by letting you all know that my mother's in the hospital right now, and that makes it really hard to focus, or just by being confident being where I am. But that is a privilege in itself. I run my own business. I am my own boss. I am white, and that brings with it so much privilege. And so what we have to remember is how psychologically damaging it is to prevent people from bringing their whole selves to work. The most important thing I want us to remember in this moment is how much people are suffering, and that the trauma is right now. It's happening right now, and particularly for colleagues of color. Workplaces are not necessarily psychologically safe, and for a lot of people, the workplaces have entered our homes. And so bringing our whole selves to work requires demanding that workplaces allow everyone to do the same.
Thank you. That was so great. I'm going to go off of presenting so that we can see each other a bit better. How do I close this? Okay. Great. Thank you so much. As everyone can tell, we have people from, the panelists have such different, fascinating backgrounds and have led in different teams across different industries. And I think, kind of what Leah said, it's like collaborative leadership is true leadership. So definitely I'm going to sit with that. So to kind of dive in onto the theme of courage to create, Ingrid, this question goes to you. I know you recently launched a nonprofit to help women during the pandemic. If you could share a little bit more about what inspired you to do that and what work you're doing with that nonprofit. Do we still have Ingrid on?
Technical difficulties, just one sec, sorry.
Okay. Okay, let's definitely make sure she's back on. But we could continue. I want to make sure she's part of the conversation. We'll hold space for a second. Thank you, everyone.
I'm back. Do you see me? I just cannot even turn on my camera. So let me try again. Sorry for that.
No worries.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we could hear you.
Okay, super, Carolina. So I apologize for that. Technology, I work in technology. Yeah. So it's just sometimes when it works, it's beautiful, it's magnificent. When it doesn't work, it's like, okay.
No worries.
So let me know when we can start over, and apologize.
Yeah, no worries whatsoever. We're rolling through all these technical difficulties the best way we can. I'm not sure if you wanted to also be on video.
I'm trying. I'm requesting. Can I be on video? You just maybe have to accept me. I don't know what's going on. If no, we can go with now Porsha and we come back. I try to reconnect. No worries.
Yes, no worries. I guess going over,
Thank you.
hopping, no problem. Hopefully Navi and Eva can help you get squared away on the back end. But moving on to Dr. Williams, you have an incredible background as a health leader, and especially during a pandemic. Can you share a little bit more about what does work-life balance mean to you, and maybe share some advice for some people who are also struggling to find work-life balance in whatever industry they're in?
Sure. This, I really appreciate this question because the subject of work-life balance has been something that I've been working on for many, many years. And it actually is the thing that brought me to my current leadership role. When I started at the University of Wisconsin, I actually just came on as an academic physician, primarily seeing patient care. But what we found was we had really high physician turnover and there was dissatisfaction. And I was tapped to lead a task force to look at what was driving this turnover. And what I found was people were not actually able to bring their whole selves to work. Physicians were burned out. They were doing their academic work in the margins of their time. And, so the way in which we work, we might be up all night, and then they were left to learn, to teach, to prepare presentations, maybe write papers on nights, on weekends. And that was burning people out, and people were leaving. And so I set about trying to figure out how we could create a more inclusive environment so that people could engage in all of those things that led them to a career in academic medicine. And we were able to successfully overhaul the way in which we worked. And that redesign actually facilitated us being able to pivot to a different way of working during COVID. So, it's at the conclusion of doing that work as well, this own personal quest of trying to find balance in my life, that I've come to the conclusion there is no work-life balance. It is elusive. It is a Sisyphean task that will never be accomplished. You're just going to keep rolling the boulder up the hill and it's going to come back down. What we should really be striving for is work-life integration. How can you look at the things that you want to do professionally and integrate those things with what you want to do and you find meaningful personally? And for me, so I'll take you back to January 2020. I wrote 3 statements on Post-it notes and I posted them on my bathroom mirror. The first one said, "My self-care is non-negotiable." The second one said, "My family time is non-negotiable." That second one is really important because by nature, my default is to work. I like to work. I feel very fulfilled by the work that I do as a physician, as a leader. So I needed to be declarative and intentional that my family time was going to be non-negotiable. And the last statement said, "I am not taking on new projects at this time. You can consult with me in October of 2020, and I will see if I have capacity to do that work in 2021. And I needed to be very intentional about seeing those statements and creating that language that I could refer to, that could roll off of my lips, that I could rehearse on a daily basis in the interest of creating a better work life, an integrated work life. So even though 2020, a couple months later, things turned out much differently than I had anticipated, those 3 statements did serve as a compass for me as the year went on. And certainly there was a lot to contend with. I mean, talk about bringing your whole self to work. I had kids at home. My husband is also in healthcare. So at some point, our house felt like a COVID command center. So trying to take care of my team, trying to take care of my children. And then, when we were met with such racial unrest, like, how do we do all of those things? How do we integrate? How do we find, dare I say it, how do we find balance? I will tell you, at the end of the year, my life was really good. I was able to connect with people because I did have those declarative statements. I was very clear about what the kind of work I wanted to be doing, what was important and meaningful for me to do at home. And so when work came home, I was able to integrate. So I would, my advice is be very intentional. If you want to find balance, or if you want to have an integrated life, be very intentional about what it is you want to do at work. Be very intentional about what is meaningful for you at home, and protect those things so that they fit together quite nicely.
Thank you. I know a couple of us are laughing, nodding our heads. Sorry, I think we're getting a bit of feedback. But when you said, "see you in 2021," it definitely resonated with me. I know a couple of us are laughing about that. And so you also said something about, redesigning the way we work. And it helps, I can't help but to think of Porsha, you at Netflix, your specialty on learning and designing, and you work with a lot of leaders to help foster this mindset of collaborative leadership. If you could share a little bit more about how do you help people tap into that, and see how they could harness their power to lead more collaboratively, while also leading with their whole selves.
Yeah, and I'm so glad that we're talking about just the relevancy of the last year, because I don't think that we could have this conversation if we didn't mention that as well. So particularly in this last year, I've noticed that what I mentioned before, collaboration, the actual definition of it goes well beyond just working together. Like I mentioned earlier, we have leaders internally who realize that proximity does not correlate with collaboration. I think that is common belief sometimes in certain tech spaces, and it's not true. It's a mindset, not a set of tools, and it's really rooted in trust and empathy, right? Trust in one another, your teammates, your peers, trust in the process of collaboration, and trust in oneself. And so that, of course, involves establishing psychological safety, like we've talked about, but it also involves getting really clear with your own sense of self and knowing how you want to show up as a leader. So I'll just speak from my own experience. Oftentimes I've felt that in environments where I've been a part of teams where women are more present in leadership positions, those environments tend to be more collaborative in general. But I've also seen how in environments where collaboration takes on this sort of one-dimensional definition of just being close together and sort of just building consensus because we're around one another, that can actually slow things down and ultimately diminish the returns on what we're trying to create. So especially given the last year, I think that it's important to really define what collaboration means and what collaborative leadership looks like in practice for your organization, because it's going to look different everywhere, especially given what we've all been through this past year and are still going through. I need to change my language to be present day, okay? So from a learning and development perspective, right, the question myself and my team are always coming back to is, how do we help people practice that? How do we help people to define what this means and also define what collaborative behaviors look like in practice? And when I say collaborative leadership, I'm not just talking about folks who lead teams. Like, you can lead as an individual contributor. Their leadership is not sort of just relegated to the folks who may have a manager or a director title. Leadership can come from so many different corners of the organization. So I just want to say that. But we think about, again, what it takes to define what those behaviors look like in practice. How do we support individuals, particularly women, in fostering the collaboration skills that translate across functions, across organizational boundaries? How do you get to understand how you want to show up as a collaborative leader and also as a collaborative teammate, right? Some of the big questions we've been tackling this last year is, especially for our leaders, is, do you lead from a place of empathy? And do you openly share knowledge to prevent knowledge and information silos? Again, all rooted in best practices for collaboration, right? You want people to have access to the information that they need to grow and create and be innovative. If we take a step back and look at some of the questions we've been grappling with, all of the qualities of collaboration, all the qualities of a collaborative leader takes bravery and authenticity. And those are things that make all of the difference in collaboration, but they also take quite a bit of effort. Let's not ignore that as women, we're already so stretched in how we're expected to show up. And so as we've explored this internally, we've realized there's no like magic wand here. As women, especially, I think we have to be really clear with our own sense of self so that we can lead collaboratively, whether you are leading a team or whether you are an individual contributor. We want to be really clear about what our boundaries are. I like what Dr. Williams said about see you in 2021, right? I think at the end of the day, collaboration requires more than, like I said, that proximity piece, more than just the output. It requires a level of trust, authenticity, bravery, and also vulnerability to really be able to hear from one another and create great work. And so again, I think as women, if we can be clear with our own sense of self and be sure of how we want to show up, how we want to define collaborative leadership on our own terms, that will help to move us forward. And hopefully protect our space, protect our own selves, our mental health in the process of being clear about those boundaries and really being sure of how we want to show up.
Thank you, Porsha, letting us, reminding us that it's leadership at all levels. So Ingrid, good to have you back. Would love to, hear a bit more. Oh, I'm getting some feedback. Anyone else?
I'm here. Can you hear me? Carolina, you are mute.
Okay, am I back?
You're back.
Okay, I am getting some feedback. Am I the only one? Okay. Well, good to have you back, Ingrid. You were talking about how you've led by example at Google with collaborative leadership. And I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about your nonprofit and how you're also leading by example in that space by supporting other women and empowering women, especially during a pandemic.
Thank you. Thank you very much for your question. I really love the theme when you and I, we discuss and we brainstorm about, have the courage to create, right? And as I mentioned to the audience earlier, I said, I come from a very a background where women didn't have a voice, didn't have the power, and then now I had the opportunity to lead my career, to work for a very large global organization, and with the little of experience I have, and with the voice I have, I decided to create a change and to lead and have the courage to accept a mission, a very important mission last year during the pandemic, to become the president and the chairwoman of a nonprofit organization called and named Positive Planet. So at the beginning, I have the imposter syndrome, saying, why me? Why now? Can I do that? That's sure. And the president of the organization said, yes, we want you to be the voice. We want, with your career, with your experience, we want you to inspire people. They come from nothing and they can change their life and have really an impact in their own life, their family, and definitely on the community. So as all you know, last year was one of the saddest year in decades. People were dying, people were suffering, people were isolated, and America was just for me, I joined America 10 years ago, but it was just the all around me, people very very impacted. So I decided to sign up for the challenge, even if I believe I couldn't do it, but I did it. I took the role and responsibility, and with a focus to build a better and a more inclusive world around me. So really the goal of Positive Planet is to look at underserved community around us and to help women. And we started our first project, we helping women entrepreneurs. We had an amazing idea to help them to go and achieve from the impossible to possible. But it was just also with my team, we started with one volunteer in July during the pandemic. Now we're 65, created board of director and focusing on meeting people where they are with ideas and many amazing potential, and really helping and support them. So Positive Planet is about, volunteers, coaches, partnership with global large organizations like Capgemini or Genpact. I have a one-on-one coaching. We build a digital platform. We are working in digital inclusion. The goal is we start with 5 women entrepreneurs in New York. The goal is to go to 15 Q2 and 100 by end of year, and maybe 2022 it's possible. Helping and supporting thousands of women entrepreneurs that want to really to change the game, because we know in America women have been very impacted these past years, and we wanted to support and provide. So with have the courage is then, when you're more comfortable in your life, and this was my case at the stage of my career, is to just lead by example. When I say that, is about expressing a voice. Not everyone will hear your voice, but it's definitely if you're passionate, you want to give back to your community, it's something you can do. And even if I feel I couldn't, I had people around me that gave me the strength and the power to say, yes, I can. And I took that role and responsibility. And, when I wake up in the morning, when I see the impact you can have around you for this women entrepreneur, and we go even further. We are working with Longalak Bootfang, and we are delivering food and things of first necessity for the people they have nothing in New York. So we are really trying to have an impact at small level, and hopefully in the future very very big impact. But if you wanted to participate to this journey, we are welcoming volunteer. You are welcoming donation, just to like look next door next from you. It's these people that really need your help and need to have you as a human being, and if you want to volunteer look at them and have an impact. So it's just I'm very appreciative for all of you to again giving us time today. And there's so many ways of giving back to our community, and this is my way last year to act and to impact, and it was to really take that role. I believe I couldn't do it, but now when I see the impact and the smile on the women's faces, that we help them to find and create their own job and help their family to survive and leave poverty, is something that I'm very passionate about. So very happy to follow the conversation. But yeah, the theme of today's event was very inspiring for me, and again, appreciative of you having me.
Thank you for sharing that, Ingrid. We'll drop the link in the chat for anyone else that wants to find out more about Positive Planet, wants to volunteer. It sounds incredible. And so moving on to Leah, as someone who also helps individuals, right, like find their inner power and strength. Can you talk a bit more about that work? Like what type of leaders, what types of people, how do they find that in their leadership style? And how do you see yourself as a leader when no one else looks like you? That's a question that I ask myself all the time and would love to hear your thoughts on that.
Yeah, thank you. So today is the National Day of Action and Healing to Stop Asian Hate. And this is in response to the horrific violence against the AAPI community last week and ongoing, and it's been growing so much over the past year, 1900%. This also commemorates the anniversary, March 26, 1790, the Naturalization Act was signed into law prohibiting non-white people from becoming citizens of the United States. So I bring this up to say that we're socialized to see leaders a certain way. It's on purpose. And it's how white supremacy survives and thrives, by holding on to power. And we've seen studies about this where they ask young girls to draw pictures of leaders and they draw confident looking straight white men in suits. Representative Ayanna Pressley says the people closest to the pain should be closest to the power. And so I believe that when it comes to us seeing ourselves as leaders, that the change will only come when, frankly, more Black, Brown, Indigenous, women of color are leading, are actually in charge. So not professional development and not DEI, it just can't be enough. Actually in charge. As a communication coach, I often hear from heads of HR or CEOs or supervisors with feedback for their teammates. And the feedback is almost always about wanting people to have more confidence. But often the feedback is not specific, it's not actionable, and it leads to very harmful ways of incorporating that feedback without having the ability to incorporate. And then when you tell someone they don't have confidence, it actually makes them have less confidence. But I loved how Porsha brought up the word trust. Because confidence, the definition of it is to trust yourself and those around you. It's actually to trust boldly. And it's impossible to communicate confidently when you don't feel safe. It's just absolutely not possible. So this is why insecure leadership just doesn't work. And it's why we need such a big change. Confidence is not happening at work for most people because our workplaces have not supported most types of voices. And this is absolutely going to be strengthened by diversity, but it's not only along certain diversity lines, it's quite far reaching. So until the time comes when more types of leaders are actually leading, what can we do in the meantime to hear from more of us? First of all, as has been so well said, to give yourself permission to lead, even if you don't feel like a leader, even if you're an individual contributor, especially if you're a reluctant leader. I was never a natural leader. It did not come naturally, but I felt pulled by mission and by a power of bringing people together. And so give yourself permission. Also, like we talked about in the workshop, refuse to be rushed or interrupted. And spaces that are rushing you or interrupting you for, whatever the intention behind it, it's not serving your voice. Our voices must be heard. And so practice taking up space and maintaining your power and committing to your own definition of presence, which is going to be very different than an HR head's definition of executive presence. And finally, if you have the power, How can you create space and opportunities for others? How can you make other people feel validated and heard? And that is leadership, and that can happen at all levels. Lastly, I personally have been devoted to supporting organizations that are leading this way and to also spending my money there. And so this is what we can all think about. If you're interviewing, where do you want to work? Can you work with leaders who are really enforcing this, where there actually is diversity in leadership? Ella spoke so well about how to look for that. Such great tips. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Leah. It's really great tips on how to lead more confidently, and also the importance of elevating and supporting our BIPOC leaders to help them also feel comfortable and to feel included in this space, because that is what collaborative leadership looks like. So to kind of close, I know we might have a few questions towards the end, but just thinking about your own individual leadership styles and how that may have transformed during the pandemic, is there something that you are excited to continue harnessing and growing in your?
Yeah, for me, it was really something very important this year. It was about embracing the growth mindset. So it's all about don't be worried to become a different version of yourself and change for the better, and just adjust and adapt with the environment you're in, with the team you're in, with the people that surround you that also change, and be okay with be a little bit outside of your comfort zone, and definitely in order to connect differently, to meet people where they are, and to collaborate in a way that is very innovative for you and your team or your family and the people around you. So this is something I will leave with. Thank you.
Yeah, for me, it is getting comfy with being vulnerable. I have seen really moving expressions of vulnerability from people in my personal life, my teammates, other folks at my company that have really, again, just moved me and have really encouraged me to do the same. But I will share with you that historically, I have not felt comfortable or safe being vulnerable, especially at work, especially as a Black woman. And I think the last year has just sort of shown us all that, look, you're going to have to be okay with things not necessarily being as maybe buttoned up as you normally would have before we went through this pandemic or still going through. There have just been some expressions of vulnerability from others around me that have inspired me to tap into my own ability to be vulnerable and lead from that place. And I think I've been really pleasantly surprised at what's come out on the other side of me showing up in that way. And I'm hoping to continue to do more of that, to step into that space.
I will echo what both Porsha and Ingrid shared. So having that growth mindset, while I thought I have always embraced a growth mindset, I will tell you this past year also taught me to be vulnerable and to show up authentically. I am the product of the South. So I grew up in Alabama. I grew up very much aware that I'm an African-American person, a woman, but those labels took on new meaning and a new weight over the past year. And I will tell you, I had spent most of my time in leadership segmenting myself, keeping my womanhood and my Blackness in a box, because I didn't feel as though they were completely welcomed or appreciated in leadership. Well, here we are sitting in 2021, having learned many lessons last year. And my leadership, I think, is all the better because I am willing to use my voice as a woman, to speak to my Blackness, to advocate for all those who had this shared commonality with me. And so that is what will remain post-pandemic. post all of the sort of distress that we had last year is bringing my whole self, allowing my mind to embrace my whole self in leadership and sharing those vulnerabilities with those with whom I lead side by side and those who are following me, to give them opportunities to bring their whole selves forward.
I hope to bring forth warmth. I hope that warmth is brought forth for all of the wonderful people I work with. And I just want that for them, because that is what we deserve, is warmth in our workplaces and warmth in our lives. And we just need more of it right now to balance off the significant strength that has led the American economy for so long. Personally, though, this past year has nearly broken me, and we're still in it. It might still. This is hard, and we're all really struggling, but the near breakingness of it has enforced the idea that I feel like I can do anything. And I hope that when we come out on the other side of this awful time, I hope that we believe in ourselves. I hope that we do not take other people's no's as fact. And I hope that we can truly lead with our whole selves and what that means to each of us here. Oh, it's such a pleasure to hear you all speak about this. And it's really been an honor to be a part of this conversation. Thank you.
Thank you. It's good to have you back, Ingrid. Did you want to share something?
I don't know if this was the most chaotic experience, but ladies, I see you smile, so make me smile, and it's all okay. It's Friday night. It's just, no, I'm hearing, I had the opportunity to hear all your feedback. I'm very inspired by each one of you, Porsha, Leah, and Makeba, about your personal experience and the way where we, as women, wanted to have a voice, change, and lead by example. And I'm very inspired by all of you, and definitely would love to have an opportunity to speak with the audience, to take some questions, because we're definitely here to serve you. We all do these events just to make sure that you feel like you're supported, you're not alone. We are all in with you, depending the industry we're in, depending your goal in life, we are experiencing things that you are on a day-to-day basis at work, in a personal life, with peaks, up and downs, and the roller coaster. So this is why I really love this type of opportunities, is to make sure that we all connect, and independently of our culture, where we come from in the world, and we feel that we can relate to each other. So I'm very excited to see if you have any questions, and looking forward to have a follow-up conversation and create a community. This is something I'm passionate about. Thank you.
Thank you so much. This is definitely inspiring to me. So we do have a couple of questions. I have a DM from someone that says, what are some red flags that can be gleaned during a job interview that the leadership of the company is not supportive and or collaborative? What kinds of questions can I ask during an interview to elicit that type of information about a company and its leadership? Great question.
I really, as a leader who is often interviewing in different spaces, whether there are for residency spots or for people who are joining our team as healthcare providers, or it takes a whole network and a village of people to deliver healthcare. I think it's important for you to use your agency just as much as those individuals are interviewing you for a role. You are interviewing that organization to make sure that it is a good fit. So asking very respectful but direct questions about what is their approach to collaboration? What is their approach to inclusivity? And giving people opportunities to use their own respective voices. So I think if a leader is shying away from answering those questions, those very direct, pointed questions, that is the red flag, that perhaps that is not the organization to which you want to align your talents and your efforts?
Yeah, I mean, Makeba, I love your answer. I think it's super important to be honest, direct, and you wanted to join an organization that looks like you can relate to and feel like included, where you can have a voice. And, you know, when I create Positive Planet, for me, and I create the board of director, was super important to say, I want to create diversity, equity, and inclusion. So it starts with me as a responsibility. And my board of director today is 50% women, 50% men. And, you know, you have to, again, I keep saying that, but you have to lead by example. Google, same thing. When I joined Google, I was the head of diversity, equity, and inclusion. And when I was going to a loop and when I was going to interview for a job, and when I see like I have 10 resumes for the same people looking the same way, I say no. Till I don't have a diverse panel, a diverse team that you're offering me from representative of our country, of our world, I'm not going to go for an interview loop. So as a leader, as a manager, as a hiring manager, you have that responsibility to say, no, I'm waiting till I don't have a representation that looks like the way I want my organization to look like. So you applying for a role, it's amazing. And I really encourage you to have a voice and say, okay, is your organization diverse? So how many amazing people coming from diverse country, gender, etc., are part of the team? Because I wanted to be part of something big and growing. So yeah, encouraging you to say that. And I think there's many organizations today, they are very sensitive about, they don't know how to do it, but at least they have the intention to do it, which is good. And then it's on you to help them to also create that new culture, new environment that foster a place for everyone to feel comfortable and feel happy about being part of the journey. So I love your question. Thank you.
That was really great. Thank you. I'm sure if anyone else wanted to answer that, or I could jump to another question. Also another great question. How do you deal with unconscious bias on the job? We all have experience with that.
Yes.
I will
Porsha?
on that. Right. I think that anytime you are encountering anything that looks like, feels like, is unconscious bias, never doubt what your gut instinct is telling you. I think oftentimes we are conditioned to doubt our own instincts around things like that, especially because unconscious bias can show up so many different ways. It can show up as overt bias. It can show up as just microaggressions, or not just micro, but it can show up in little or very large scale ways. So the first thing is never ever doubt what your gut instinct is telling you about what you're experiencing. Don't let anyone else sway you from that either. The other thing that I found to be helpful is to find your community, find your people that are the ones that outside of your team, they may be outside of your department, but the people that you can tap to just openly connect with and talk to and share your true authentic experience, share with them what you've seen and what you felt, and find the people who will support you in that process of sharing. I have found that through different pockets of community, I've worked at organizations where there are no employee resource groups, right? So I have to create my own, right? There are some places I've worked where I have to create my own cabinet to consult with my trusted people and partners that I've identified as the ones that I will go to and lean on to connect with, because you need to have an outlet and a way to talk about what's happening to you and what you're experiencing. And this is me speaking very broadly, very generally, not knowing what other mechanisms you may have in your workplace to help you actually work through those. I encourage you to lean on those mechanisms if they are in place. But those are two things that I just really wanted to bring forward about unconscious bias, because it can show up in so many different ways. And I think our first instinct after sort of, realizing that something may be off is to doubt ourselves, and that doesn't serve us well. So that, and really finding the people to connect with who can help you navigate and help you through, I think that's really, really powerful when it comes to handling unconscious bias.
And I love your feedback, Porsha, but I think it's a responsibility and it's a day-to-day responsibility. It's not because you're a white woman and blah, 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 that you don't have an unconscious bias. Like, I just wanted to, we all have, and it's very surprising because this is what I love about the organization I'm working on, where now we have constant training every year, every 6 months to remind us. It's not because you are coming from a diverse background that you don't have unconscious bias also, right? So we wanted to create that inclusive world, and all of us we have, and it's about being mindful about the vocabulary you use, the comments you do about gender, about people where they're coming from, and independently of your nature, your culture, etc. We all can be hurtful. So it's just about always being mindful and empathy. I know you mentioned a lot of that word today is all about that. Is also develop empathy with you, because you cannot be perfect. And sometimes you feel like you're super inclusive, you're super diverse, and you say something's not right, and it's okay. But if you have an open dialogue with your peers that they are different and they're coming from different environment, this is really when you start creating a culture when everyone feel that they can have a voice. But definitely is always touch point with people that are not like you. They don't think like you, they don't come from the same background, and then ask question, like genuine question and caring question, where you can learn about yourself and others. And I think this, I will always encourage every one of us to like think and reflect, but is a daily exercise. It's not one time, oh, I did a training on diversity and inclusion and unconscious bias, I'm good with it. No, because we are, so many different nationality and people so diverse in this world. So it's something we need to, every time when I feel like a responsible, something is important. Thank you.
I would also say, I think it is important to give yourself a bit of grace to not have to be the person who's calling it out all the time. Because as a recipient of the unconscious bias, your feelings can get hurt, and that is a weight to be carried. And the challenge for all of us that are around is to develop allyship so that you can, as a sort of victim or a recipient of an unconscious bias, those individuals have a community to come to, and we allies can then step up and advocate on their behalf, and not putting them in double jeopardy to feel and be the recipient of that bias and have to call it out and act upon it. So it is okay to take a step back too, and not have to confront it head on.
Thank you. So that's all the time we have for questions. To the audience, to everyone here, our community, feel free to continue engaging with us and asking any questions or sharing any thoughts by tagging Courage to Create and Women Tech Makers. And now it's raffle time. So we're closing out the event, and let's all come back together. I know we have a couple of other presenters that are going to share a bit more about the raffle. But if you could, of course, let's give a virtual round of applause. Our amazing speakers, our amazing leaders. Thank you so much for leading the way you lead, and for bringing your energy and your presence to this today, despite the technical difficulties. Thank you so much. So I'm gonna share now my presentation, but it's basically just a link reminder for the raffle. So be sure to fill that out if you want to be included in our raffle. And I think we are closing the form any second now. Let's see. Great. Did Linda and Eva, anyone wanted to hop on here and share a bit more about the raffle?
Yes, we closed the form raffle. We already have like 160 answers for the raffle. So 165, so we are good there. And I think we have an announcement. Anna, are you ready for the announcement?
Oh, yes.
Yes, we do.
Can you go to the next slide, please?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Hopes. Anna, are you?
Hi, as you just met Ingrid and she talked about Positive Planet, you have the chance to work with her. She has an amazing team. Whatever your skills are, marketing, product management, program management, web development, you can contact her directly at gonzalezingrid@google.com. That's to donate your time. It's also tax time for deduction in your taxes. You can also donate your money. Thank you.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. Let's see. Do we have any other announcements, of course, or sponsors?
And we also
ready?
Yes, we have our sponsors now. So for everybody who fill out the form will be included in our raffle. For beginning, we will all the attendees will get from Atria Institute of Technology Coursera free lifetime license for all of you. I will post the link in chat and we will send a email follow up with all the links. So don't worry if you miss it, you will receive it anyways. Also, O'Reilly will offer 30 days full access to the library to all of you. I will post quickly that in chat also. Practicum by Andex is offering 6 full scholarships to their boot camps to choose from 2 data analysts, 2 data scientists, and 2 web developer. They will choose based on your answers to that form, and tomorrow we'll announce in a follow-up email who is the winner, and you will be contacted by them also on Monday. We have 5 O'Reilly books at our wheel of names, and ROI training for on-demand Google Cloud certifications trainings for associate and professional cloud engineering. And I will head over to Elizabeth and Anna for the next sponsors, please.
Oh, sure. Well, Wellframe is sponsoring with 4 $50 gift certificates to Amazon.com. And I will put you in touch with my contact, Rich. They're hiring and they are at Seaport. They're 100% virtual now, but they are in a very nice commercial area of Boston. They are doing digital health. Ava, did you want to share?
Yes, of course. So Gazpacho is offering a $50 Amazon gift card. We have a pretty cool lineup of raffles.
And finally, thank you to Google for the 2nd generation Google Nest Hubs, which was just released. So we'll have 3 lucky winners shortly.
Amazing.
So can I share my screen for the raffle? Can you show the next slide for just a second for the prizes and we go to, oh, these are our organizers and these are the prizes for all of you. And I will share my screen so we can extract the winners. 1 second. This.
Very exciting. Thank you everyone for joining us up until this point.
Thank you. This is exciting.
So exciting.
I think everybody can see the wheel, right? I will paste the names from
the wheel.
So we have quite of names. So what are we going to extract first? So we can keep. Are we going to extract first the Google Nest Hubs?
Let's start with Google, yes.
Yeah, because we have restrictions on shipping. In case you win one of those, I think we will switch to a gift card or what?
Yes, if you, unfortunately, if you're not in the US or Canada or India, we have to give you a gift card instead.
$50 gift card, and we will raffle again the Nest Hub. Okay, I will go for the first one.
We don't see anything.
You don't see my screen?
No, we don't. We see the empty wheel of names.
Right, we do.
Okay, I will close it and I will start all over. So it doesn't count. Stop sharing. 1 second. So please let me know. Okay. Now, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty.
Okay. We will start all over. I didn't eliminate nobody. So the first Google Mini Hub, Nest Hub, sorry. Augustine F.
Okay, so give us a sec, just to.
Yeah, take the names.
Okay, winner, congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations. Next Google Mini. It's him in United States or something. Can you check even that answer, Eva?
Yes.
Okay, so wait.
Watch the chat for a DM if you're a winner, please.
Okay, let's go. Next winner for a Google Nest Hub. Jessica.
All right, Jessica Chavez. Congratulations.
Okay, remove. It's her in our shipping area. Can you check?
Yes.
Okay, we are good.
Make sure again because my screen just moved. Sorry, technical difficulties. Yes, yes, we're safe.
Okay, next.
So normally we do like.
Who can pronounce this name? Getu Agrawal. I don't know.
We apologize for butchering your name, Gitu or Jitu. I'm so sorry for the mispronunciation. Google Nest Hub, congratulations. We have to check location, correct? Right?
Yeah. Can you check location?
And US, awesome. Okay, congratulations.
Okay.
Great.
Okay. What we go to Raffle next?
So we have
5 O'Reilly books.
O'Reilly books. Do those?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. First winner. Luke Smith.
Luke Schmidt. Okay, let's find Luke. And that doesn't have any US or Canada.
No, we don't need shipping. We don't need shipping, so we should be good.
All righty, so let me write this in the chat. And
okay,
next winner, please. Congratulations.
Always O'Reilly book or digital book.
So there's another O'Reilly, correct?
Yeah.
Karimu Mohammed. Congratulations. Okay, I'm going to write that in the chat.
And third book, O'Reilly book.
Mohammed Malkani. Okay, let's see. Let's find you.
This was the third, right? Now the fourth book.
O'Reilly.
O'Reilly book.
So number 4, book number 4. Let's go. This is a very silent drum roll. Wilhelmina Tete. Okay, so Wilhelmina, I can spell sometimes.
I put it in Slack.
Okay.
I pasted it in Slack for you.
We're good.
Next, the last O'Reilly book.
All right, so let's raffle it off. Number 5, right?
Yeah.
Drum roll.
Milena.
Milena Pereira Machado. Okay, winner, O'Reilly. It's
Congratulations. Congratulations, all of our winners.
going into the chat.
Yeah. We need some cheerleaders here.
Yeah, we do.
What we are raffling for? I put accidentally, I already. The ROI training. Let's do the ROI training.
Antonella Colon. Yay.
What did we just raffle?
ROI training.
Okay, let's take it a little slower because I'm not as fast as you.
Yeah.
You
I
don't-
accidentally pushed it. I'm sorry.
It's okay. Thank you.
So,
Grab it.
ROI
I don't want to.
training, first one. Are we
How many
good?
ROIs do we have?
4.
4.
Let's go for the
Nice.
second.
Okay, let's do this. Number 2. Is it spinning?
Another ROI training.
Okay, let's find you. Where are you? I believe it's Ban.
Eight.
Okay. I'm sorry
Congratulations.
for mispronouncing your name. If
Back.
put in the chat.
New deep. Okay. This was the second. So we go for the third ROI training course.
Yes, so let's raffle off number 3. Oh, I did pronounce it correct. Direct message. Thank you. Congratulations. I'm glad I didn't butcher your name. Okay. So,
Rashab.
Rishab.
Congratulations, Rashab Goal.
Awesome. Okay.
Well,
So we have another winner.
last one. Last ROI training, right?
Yeah, we are going for the last one.
I don't know. I'm not going to claim to be able to count. Just give me a second though, so I can type it.
Fourth one.
It's spinning. Okay. 1, 2, 3. This is the 4th one. Let's do this.
Yeah. Andrea N.
Okay. Andrea N. And you won. Okay.
Congratulations to the
Congratulations.
ROI winners. Good job.
Next, what do we have next for the raffle?
Well,
The well frame Amazon gift cards.
Right. There's 5 gift cards all the same from Gazpacho and Wellframe.
yes.
Okay.
Let's do that.
So let's go for the first Amazon gift card from Wellframe.
Who's our lucky winner? Yannick.
Yes, Tic Santien. I don't know. I think it's French name or something.
Yannick, congratulations.
Sorry for our horrible pronunciation. We don't mean to butcher your name. We apologize. Congratulations.
Second Wellframe gift card.
Wait, didn't they just
Amazon
tell
gift
us
card.
not to apologize? Didn't they tell us to?
I can't
Oh,
help
Aaron Medero.
Aaron. Okay. Congratulations.
Wait, Aaron, weren't you in the room with me? My Android friend, Aaron? All right. Congratulations.
Okay, next. Third Wellframe Amazon gift card.
Yes, let's go for it.
I want to see who is brave on this name.
Mahesh Sarat Chandra. I probably butchered it, but I'm trying. If I say it clearly enough that you can understand that it's you, Racha Kula Mahesh Sarat Chandra. I have quite a long name. I only use 2 parts of my name if you need to know. So,
Okay. So now we have the last Wellframe Amazon gift card, right? Let's go for it.
Let's do this. Is it spinning? I can't tell.
Yay.
Rakmawati, awesome. Rakmawati, congratulations.
Can you hear all the noises, the background noises? Ooh. Can you hear it?
Now I heard it, yeah.
Yeah? Oh, okay, so it's working. Now we are going for the Gazpacho Amazon gift card, right?
Yes.
Okay, let's do that.
Candice,
Candice,
congratulations.
Candice.
Nice, nice. Congratulations, Candice.
All right, so you should see it posted in a sec in the chat also.
Are we done with all the prizes? I think we are done. So, right?
Let's see.
Can someone check before I unshare my screen? And I head it over to Carolina or.
We did ROI.
Yeah.
Okay, we did the 5 Amazon gift cards. We did the 3
Yes.
Nest Hubs. We did the 5 O'Reilly books, right?
Yeah, I think we are good. Yeah, I think we are good.
Okay.
Perfect.
Right,
I will
so-
stop sharing my screen now and I will head it over to you.
Yeah.
By the way, Linda, I got a question that Coursera offers free course per year anyway. So is that in addition to?
Yeah, I put all the links in chat. I will post it again. Okay. There should be in chat and I will post it again. It's for everybody. So you will have to put in the affiliation field, right, the GDGCR. So they know that you are coming from this event. So you will find all the links from O'Reilly, from Practicum, from Atria Institute. You will find all the links in chat. So please take advantage. We will share all these links in a follow-up email tomorrow when we will have even the winners for Practicum. They will pick up the winners for the boot camps. So please fill out the form at your best knowledge. So to be picked, to be chosen for. So I head it over to who is next, Carolina or who?
Thank you. That was amazing. Like I said, what is a GDG event, a GDG mega workshop summit like this without amazing prizes? Thank you so much again to all our sponsors. And I think that sort of wraps up, this evening's event. We've learned so much. I know I have, and I'm excited to just continue, seeing what you all have learned too. So feel free to share, what gems you've walked away with, interact with us on social media, tag us, Courage to Create and Women Tech Makers. Thank you so much to everyone for being here. And of course, to our amazing organizers. It is a powerhouse team right here. It really took a lot of effort, and I love working with you all. So this has been such a fun opportunity. And yeah, thank you to everyone for being here. I'm not sure if anyone else has anything else to add, but
I had a question that somebody asked me. Yes, it's 1 course per year, not a certification. Last year was a full certification in Coursera, but they might change the agreement depending on Coursera. So it's good to have it. So it's 1 course for a year for the moment. Last year was a full certification. Thank you for the question.
Perfect. And so we'll also follow up via email, right? Just confirming the winners of the raffles, and we'll also be sharing other links as well, like the link to volunteer to Positive Planet, and a recap recording of the sessions this evening as well. So stay tuned there and ask us any questions through email. Really excited to see you all. I see Linda's dog in the background, ready for the weekend.
Yeah, thank you to our speakers, our panelists, and thank you, Carolina. Thank you for leading the effort.
Thank you so
thank
much.
you, everybody. And thank you all our GDG leads. Can we share that slide to thank all our GDG leads?
All the different GDG organizations.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, great effort and great speakers.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Together we
If-
rise, and better together has never been truer.
Mhm.
And we are looking forward to have all our attendees to our next events. All of us have planned in the future. There is, I think, a Flatterista conference that is coming up on, yeah, definitely. Thank you to all our organizers for putting up this wonderful event.
Thank you,
Maybe should
Linda.
spotlight them. You can spotlight also, and just wave, come in, say hi, say bye.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody.
Hi, everyone.
Thank you, everybody.
I see you're in there.
Navi, David,
See you.
Doug.
David, Doug, Roman, Carol,
So
Rafael.
much, everyone.
I see a bunch of people.
Julia, where's
Julia,
Julia?
Navi,
Yeah, thank you,
David
everyone.
Silva, Irenia, Ethan. The list goes on and on. There was a huge team effort here.
And all
And
the
let's
speakers,
thank all
please,
our attendees, all our attendees.
all
Thank
the
you.
speakers should join us again. They were absolutely fabulous.
Have a
Exactly.
great evening. Have a great weekend. Thank you all. We hope you had a good
Thank
time,
you all.
and keep an eye on the meetups. We'll be posting events again soon, and stay safe.
Awesome.
Definitely.
Well, and
See you
Thank you.
soon.
warm weather's coming soon.
See you
so
soon.
we'll be good.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.